Good evening, everyone. This is Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, and I'm popping in tonight to create a card using the Best Catch stamp set. So I've got that here, and I'm also going to be using the Seriously the Best stamp set, and I'm just trying to get my computer. I'm trying a new setup, and I'm trying to get my computer so I can see this on my screen without having to stand. There we go. Now I can see it. Excellent. So I'm going to be using these two stamp sets tonight to create a card for my class. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble focusing today because it's been a really emotional week, and especially day. I've been contacting families from my students and just chatting with everybody and checking in with them. And yesterday was my one and only chance to go back up to my classroom and sneak in and grab a few things. And the most important thing I had to go grab were my salmon. I had to get them out of my classroom and release them quite a bit earlier than we normally would, because my school is going to be used for essential worker childcare, and so we will no longer be allowed to enter the building. So unfortunately my class missed our salmon release, and a lot of them are feeling pretty sad about that. I posted online for them the release itself so that they could see it, but it's not quite the same. And I have just a few little goodies that I want to send to them. I have some little pins saying that they were part of a salmon enhancement program, and so I want to send that to them. So I want to create a card to put those in and to share with them. So what I've got here is a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and I've cut it at 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored it at 5 1/2. And then I have a piece of paper from the Peaceful Poppies designer series paper, and or painted poppies, sorry. And we're going to use this blue side because, or pool party side, because it kind of looks to me like waves, that kind of thing. So we're going to use that as a background. This was cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And then I'm going to use some Whisper White. I'm just going to bring in my die cut machine here because we're going to cut a piece for putting the sentiments on, and I'm using the largest die from the stitched, oh, I always forget the name of this one. Sorry guys. It's the Stitched Nested Labels dies. It's a mouthful. So we're using the largest die from that set. Alright, so I've put this on so that when this goes through, I'm not going to have a flat edge. I'm going to have that point kind of leading. So not the most efficient way to do this with the size of paper I had cut. Oh yes, Val, anytime you get a chance to talk to someone, go take it. Alright, there we go. So I've just put that one through. And now we've got a nice long hexagon there with our beautiful stitching on the edges. So I'll put all this off to the side. Okay. So on this hexagon that we have, I'm going to use some Memento ink and our salmon. And I'm going to ink this guy up, so I'm going to kind of just rub him around and then give him a few taps. So yeah, I'm sorry that I haven't been around and stamping much and sharing. I had every intention this week of sharing, hi Karen, every intention of sharing a whole bunch of stuff this week on the Ornate Garden series. As of Wednesday, my life just kind of turned upside down with all the stuff that's going on, just kind of getting ready to teach remotely, and figuring out how that's going to work and connecting with families and dealing with the emotions of the parents and the kids, and it's been quite the week. So I'm happy that it's Friday, and I get to just relax and do a bit of stamping. So there we go. I'm going to stamp Hello Friend in some early espresso. And then I've got I Miss You a Lot. Both of these are from the Seriously the Best stamp set. And just exactly how I'm feeling right now about my class. So yeah, there we go. So it's a fairly simple design today. The biggest part with this card is actually the coloring of this salmon. So although we raised chum in my class, my classroom has a puppet in it that is a sockeye salmon, and of course it tends to be the kids' favorite salmon as well, because it's the one that gets all bright red when it's a spawner. So I have a wide variety of colors to use today. I've got both the light and dark cherry cobbler blends, the light and dark old olive blends, and then I have the light smoky slate, the dark crumb cake, and the light crumb cake. So there's another combo. And then just in case, I've got the color lifter. When I was playing around with the salmon earlier, I kept accidentally coloring in his eye. So while I'm working on coloring, I may not see your comments if you're leaving any. I'll try and kind of peek up, but and hopefully I won't get my head in the screen while I'm coloring. So when you're using the blends, what's really nice is that you can blend not just two of the same color, but you can actually blend multiple colors together. So I'm going to start with my dark cherry cobbler, and I'm going to come into the areas that I want to be the darkest. I'm kind of being, quite messy with it, but I am using the thinner tip for this. Okay, there we go. So I kind of want the outside of that space. Oh, sorry. And I also want just a little bit up into that dorsal fin. Once that's done, I'm going to use kind of the larger brush end of the light cherry cobbler, and I'm going to come in and fill in the rest of that space. I'm not coloring in any of his fins though. I want all those fins to remain a lighter color. We're going to get them to be a silverish green as we do this. All right. So once that's done, I'm going to grab my lighter green, and I want the paintbrush end, and I'm going to come in and be quite generous with my coloring with that, and kind of color most of them. Whoops, see, there we go again, right off the tip of his nose. So, and I'm going to come in and do the bottom as well. All right, now I made this mistake as well when I was coloring my first samples. I forgot to do this other dark side, this other red side. So I'm going to come in here with my darker red, and then for this spot I'm going to use the smaller tip on my cherry cobbler. All right, and really blend that together. There we go. All right, so now that I've got my light green done, I'm going to come in with the tinier end of my dark green, and I'm going to actually go right into where I've done some cherry cobbler and blend those two colors together. And I'm going to come in around the eye. There we go, and inside his mouth, and on the lower side of his belly here, and into these fins as well. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to use my dark crumb cake to blend together all the colors in this top fin and in this fin, and finally over in this fin. There we go. So it kind of gives a greenish tone to it. Now I'm going to come in with my smoky slate, because I do want his belly to be a little bit silver, and I'm going to go right up into where I've done my green, all through his belly and down into his tail fin. and come right in with all this smoky slate so that it blends together. And then I'm going to finish up the blending with my light crumb cake. And I'm going to go over the green and the gray. And so the light crumb cake is a nice transition for the gray into the green. And again, down at the tail, just doing quite a bit of blending down there. And then over it all. All right. Now this is where my color lifter comes in. I'm going to come up here, just where I went off with the green, and color quite a bit there to lift up all that excess green. There we go. All right, so that is all of the blends that we're going to do on that salmon. So I can put those off to the side now. And just see if you guys can see him there. So yeah, quite a colorful little guy. All right, so with that done, we're going to just kind of put the whole thing together and use some of our embellishments. Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Karen. All right, so the ribbon we're going to use is the green twine that comes in our Magnolia Lane ribbon combo pack. Oh, and I haven't even used this one yet. So I always find these a little tricky to open without a pair of scissors. I know there's supposed to be like an end that peels back nicely, but I can never seem to find it. All right. There we go. God, that's, oh, maybe I didn't. Yeah, there we go. All right. And then somewhere in here, there should be an end to start. There it is. It's got a little piece of tape on it. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to cut off that piece with the tape. And I'm just going to figure out here if I want that to sit there. I want my bow right about there. So I'm going to leave a little bit to tie with. Hold that in place, and I'm going to wrap this around twice. And then trim it off on the end. So that's the twine from the Magnolia Lane combo. And then this gets wrapped underneath both pieces of the twine before I tie a knot. I don't know why I did that backwards today. That's weird. All right. So I hope you guys are all doing well and, you know, finding ways to fill your day and all that, getting lots of social time. Today I talked on the phone from 9 o'clock in the morning until 6:30 in the evening. I understand now why operators wear headsets, because about halfway through the day I had to go find mine. My ears were starting to actually hurt from having the phone touching them. There we go. All right, so with that tied on there, I'm going to trim those up so that they stay on, or almost on, my pool party paper there. And that's going to get glued. I'm just going to double check that yeah, that's perfect. So this is going to get glued to my card base. And I do like to use liquid glue. You could use snail or Terran tape. I like the liquid glue because it just really holds things in place. All right. Okay. And we'll pop that on. There we have it. And I'm going to use some dimensionals to put my image and my sentiment onto my card. I'm just going to use 4 on here, one kind of in each corner. There we go. Peel the backs off those. So yeah, celebration's done. I'm waiting for my final order of goodies to arrive. And I am trying to get organized to do some online classes. I had really actually hoped to get that done this week, but it's been such an emotional week. I haven't, today's the first day I've stamped since Wednesday morning. Just haven't been feeling it. I've been so emotionally exhausted by the end of the day, so kind of nice to take a breather and do this, because I do truly love it. All right. And now my final touch is I'm going to grab some basic self-adhesive rhinestones. These come in some really beautiful colors, like some shimmer, some nice, I think that's petal pink, maybe blushing bride, almost like a very like ivory and a white. So they're just all kind of like your really nice neutrals. They do stick to each other, my goodness. And yeah, some really nice neutrals in here. And so I'm going to use kind of the greenish ones and pop a couple of those on. So I'm going to just do one there, and one down here. So just a little bit of a sparkle to that card. And that is our finished card. So I hope that my students are going to like this. I've got 20 of them to make. Oh, I'm getting a message. Sorry, guys. I've got 20 of these to make, well, 19 now, and then send these off to my students. So I am hoping to get more consistent now that this tough week is over, and really get stamping with you guys again. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great night. Bye.